Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is a really fun video because I am not only discussing with you cult favorite beauty products that I have personally never tried, but I'm actually going to be trying them all on for a full face of first impressions. I was thinking about all the products that I've been meaning to try for years or that have been so popular and have a cult following, but I just never got around to trying them for whatever reason. And then I was just starting to make a list, and I thought I would love to purchase all of these products at the same time and just do a full face of first impressions. So that's what this video is going to be today. Okay, let's get started on my full face of makeup. I'm going to pull my hair back, and there are some categories that I just didn't have a product. I couldn't think of one that was like a cult favorite or a holy grail that I hadn't already tried. I've tried a lot of makeup just because I love makeup so much. I've pretty much tried so many of the cult favorites already. I had to really think of one that I've never tried before, and so some of the categories are missing, but I got as much as a full face as I could. I already prepped my skin with moisturizer, and so we're going to go straight to foundation. And believe it or not, I've never tried the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place makeup. The number one reason being is I looked at this many years ago, and they just did not have a shade light enough for me. I did purchase this shade 1C1 Cool Bone, which years ago is the lightest that they ever had. I know that now they have a shade called Shell, and it is lighter than this, but I went ahead and picked up the original lightest because I wanted to see just how dark it was. These days I am a lot more apt to do sunless tanning. Now that they've invented like 2-hour express tanners, I do tan a lot more. So I tanned last night just a little bit, and I wanted to see if this was a good match for when I throw on a quick sunless tanner the night before. Unfortunately, there is no pump on this. I have heard that you can buy the MAC pump for this foundation, and it fits this bottle. So if I like this foundation, I'm gonna have to end up doing that because I hate foundation bottles that don't have a pump. So it does feel pretty thick, so I don't know exactly how much to use. I know this is supposed to be like, actually I think the website says medium coverage, but I hear everybody talk about how full coverage it is. And I'm going to be applying with a beauty blender because that's my favorite way to apply foundation. It definitely looks to be medium coverage. I actually expected it to be a lot more full coverage than this. Maybe I just didn't apply enough. That's what I hate about the bottle like this. I don't know exactly how much to apply or how much I'm getting on my finger. It is blending in really nicely, and it doesn't feel as heavy as I expected it to be either. I do have active breakouts on my chin, and that is not, it's not sticking to those and covering up the redness very well. I also have some on my forehead, so we'll see if it covers those. I am the makeup lover in my group of friends, but one of my very best friends told me, oh, I tried a new foundation and it's so amazing. It's the Estee Lauder Double Wear. And I was like, oh yeah, that one is like loved by everyone. I said, but you know what? I've never tried it. She said, it is so good. And I thought, I haven't thought about that foundation in forever, but I really do need to try it. If my non-makeup obsessed friends are already trying it, well, then it's time for me to as well. Okay, it did not cover those blemishes at all, but I mean, they're like raised blemishes, so nothing normally does. But I expected this to be a little bit more coverage than it actually has. It's definitely a medium coverage, not medium to full, in my opinion. So far it has a really nice finish on the skin, and I'm impressed. I expected it to look heavier, more cakey. It's also not quite as matte as I thought that it would be. It's definitely a matte foundation, but it doesn't look dry as of right now. We'll see as it dries down. If it looks heavy anywhere, it is like the small lines right here. Seems to be looking a little bit heavy, and kind of, you know, you can just, it's just kind of accentuating those small lines. I can't wait to see how this foundation sets because it's really supposed to just be budge proof, sweat proof, weatherproof, and really stay on. Next up is concealer, and I have never tried the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. This was the concealer that everybody used on YouTube a couple of years ago, or several years ago. I've been watching for a long time. But I have never tried it. I have tried the Pro Longwear foundation. Is that a thing? What's it called? I think they have a foundation. But I never tried the concealer. Oh, it's like a glass bottle. That seems dangerous. I feel like I'm gonna drop this little bitty thing. And I haven't tried this yet, I just swatched it, but it does have a pump, which I love. I have no idea how much of this to use either. Oh, it really doesn't give you much control, so I did one pump and that looks like, oh, that's a lot. It's definitely going to be enough for both eyes because I don't do a whole lot of concealer. I'm not a YouTube concealer type of gal. Just do just a little bit. Wow, that is pretty full coverage. I recently tried the Tarte Shape Tape and I honestly expected that one to be way more full coverage than it was. After all the hype with that one, I just really expected more as far as coverage, but this one is really good. This one also blends nicer than I thought it would. I thought it would be more of a heavy concealer that was a lot more thick in consistency, but this one is blending out really nicely. So I'm not going to conceal my blemishes just in case you can see them. You can actually see what the foundation looks like if you have acne prone skin. But so far the foundation doesn't look any different as it's been setting as when I first put it on. Still accentuating those little fine line smile lines. And it is not transferring onto my finger, but it does have like a tacky kind of sticky feel. Like I can hear it. I can hear my finger pull off of my skin. So it's definitely set, like it's on there. I always set with a powder, so I'm going to go ahead and set it with my Laura Mercier Candle Glow powder just because I thought this was going to be super matte. So I didn't want to put a matte powder on it as well. So I'm just going to lightly set. Maybe this will bring a little bit of life to it. If you have a really matte foundation that you just want to bring a little bit of life to, I highly recommend this powder. It looks so much prettier than I anticipated, and the concealer as well. It just really covered a lot. I think I'm going to really like this. And it did not crease right away on my upper eyelids. Normally, I powder as soon as I put on concealer and my upper eyelids are already creased, and this did not do that. So that is a good sign. Next up is eyeshadow. I'm really excited about this because I've been wanting to try this. It's the Lorac Pro palette, and this is the original Lorac Pro palette. Really old. I don't know why I've never tried it because I love neutral tone palettes. You can keep your warm tone orangey red palettes because that's not for me. I love the just natural neutral palettes. So I don't know why I don't own this one already. So excited. Oh yes, that is what I'm talking about. People love this palette and love the quality of the shadows, so I expect to be impressed by this. Like, I'm really excited to try it. I said keep your orangey red shades, but this garnet shade, ooh, they're creamy. Ooh, that is pretty. So maybe I'll take that one orangey red shade. You can keep the rest. I'm not going to go too crazy on the eyes. I'm going to do my normal kind of like everyday eyeshadow look because I want to see if I can wear it every day. I want to own a palette that I can reach for over and over, special occasions, but I want to be able to use it every day as well. So that's what I'm going to do. Since I've never looked at this before, I didn't know that the entire top row is mattes and the entire bottom row is shimmers. So that's really neat. I like how the palette is laid out. Okay, so looking for a transition shade. It looks like taupe is going to be my best bet. Probably my only option for a transition shade. Maybe this mauve color, but that's not really transition. So we're going to try taupe. You don't have to dig into this product. It goes on the brush really easily. Ooh. That is nice. That is a buttery matte for sure. And seems to be blending really easily. Well, that was really quick and easy. Like, I laid down a transition shade really quickly and just dipped into it once. I don't feel like it's too warm or too cool toned. It is a really, really good neutral taupe color. And then I go in and I just do a darker color in the corner. And I usually use a shimmer for this. So, I don't want to use... Well, they don't have a really, really dark brown shimmer shade, so I'm going to go in with the dark brown Espresso. I just dipped my brush in lightly, tapped it off. These are super pigmented and you have to use a light hand for sure. Or I mean, I like lighter, more natural looks, so I tend to go for a light hand anyway. This is turning out not as light as I had intended because the shadows are so pigmented, but that blended so easily. Yeah, that blended so nicely and easily. Then I'm going to take the light bronze shade and just put it right in the middle of my lid, and I like to use my fingers for colors like this and like stamp them on. I'm thinking this is going to be my new favorite everyday palette. I'm loving it so far. I am one of the very few people that probably still reaches for their Urban Decay Naked palettes all the time. I just love the neutral colors in them, so this was a long overdue purchase. I am loving this so far. Then I'm going to take Espresso and pull it underneath my lower lash line. I am loving these shades. I'm loving the quality. I'm loving the options. Like, I cannot wait to dig into all these colors now. Those were just like the boring everyday colors, and I love them so much that I can't wait to you know, see what all kind of looks I can make out of this. And I probably have so many tutorial videos I could watch from everybody and their mom on YouTube. Okay, I finished both eyes, and the Lorac Pro palette is a home run. This is one of those that I'm like, why didn't I purchase it sooner? Everybody was talking about it. I should have jumped on the bandwagon years ago. So for mascara, this is another cult classic, and it is the CoverGirl Lash Blast Mascara. I have never used this because I've been a loyal L'Oreal Voluminous fan pretty much my whole makeup wearing life. I have never given the Lash Blast any love, but it's time that I change that. I want to see if I love this as much as so many people. I already pretty much like the brush. It's really short plastic bristles, so we'll see if that can really get into the lash line and build up the volume. I'm going to curl my eyelashes real quick. This brush doesn't get a whole lot of product on the wand. It's either that or this product or this mascara is just not as wet as I hoped it would be. I like really wet, easy to glide on mascaras. But it's certainly not the driest I've ever used. It's somewhere in the middle. I do feel like I'm having to dip it a lot of times just to get more product on the wand. It's definitely a pretty mascara. It doesn't look spattery or clumpy or like it just didn't do anything to my lashes. It's just a nice middle of the road mascara is how I would describe it. But I feel like when you put on the first coat, it would just be a good, like, real quick, almost barely there mascara. And I like the first coat to be like, wham bam, thank you ma'am. Because I don't like to sit here and build it up and build it up and work with it and build it up. Like, I'm in a hurry. So I like a mascara that pretty much can get it done and look crazy good. Oh. This one I'm having to dip into the tube over and over again, put on more coats, and it's still just not as drastic as I like my mascara. Okay, so that's pretty. I mean, like I said, good middle of the road. If this is all they had left at the drugstore and I had to pick it up, I wouldn't be mad about it. I am not going to do my brows today just because I'm lazy. So I apologize for that, but I'm just going to brush through them with a brow gel. Now I'm going to apply my blush, and I could not find a cult favorite that I hadn't already tried. I really could not think of one that I haven't owned in the past, or at least haven't tried. So I'm using my trusty Marc Jacobs Flesh and Fantasy. I could think of like NARS Orgasm, but I've tried that one. Had it many years ago. All the like Benefit box blushes, but I've tried all of those, and I honestly just couldn't think of too many more. So if you have like a favorite holy grail or like a cult favorite blush that you can think of, leave that down below. I'd love to know. I did, however, pick up a highlighter, and that is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder. And I've heard such great things about these, and people rave about them, and they have a cult following as well. I got the shade Blossom Glow. and it's like a pinky highlighter, which I thought would be good with my skin tone. I tried to swatch this on the back of my hand and it did not swatch well, so I'm interested to see how it looks on the face. It looks like my brush is having a hard time picking up any. Like the powder just seems so hard, but we'll see if it just comes off. Oh, it picked up something. That is a lot more intense than I anticipated. Okay, well, I'm glad this is not super, super creamy powder because I would have gotten way too much on my brush. Ooh, that's a little bit intense for the tip of my nose. Like I said, I'm a natural makeup type of girl. I don't want to glow for the nose. I am not Rudolph. Now I see why everybody says this is a good drugstore option for highlighter. It is really pretty. It is a lot more like shimmery than I'm used to. I like glowy highlighters, but you know, it's something fun and new. It would be fun for a night out. And lastly, we have lips. I really could not think of a lipstick that I hadn't tried either that was just a cult favorite. So I picked up the MAC Lip Pencil in Whirl. This one is just loved by so many. I have a lot of MAC lip liner, so why I've never picked up Whirl, I have no idea. But I'm going to kind of line my lips and then fade it inwards and then just put a gloss on top because I want to see the color as is. I don't want to put a lipstick on top and cover it up. And I do like MAC lip liner, so I already know that much. I just want to see the color. It's not quite as dark as I thought it would be. Even when I swatched it on the back of my hand, I thought it was going to be like more vampy than this. So that is really pretty blended out. Not at all as dark as I thought it would be. Very, very pretty color. And now I can see when you blend out the edges how it would go with a variety of lipstick shades. I was thinking, well, you can only wear this in the fall, in the winter when you're wearing dark lip color, but now I can see it can really complement a lot of nude shades and a lot of pink shades. So I'm just going to put my Dior Lip Maximizer lip gloss on top to just highlight the color. I believe they have a Whirl lipstick as well that I could use, but I love using lip liner as a lip, like an all over lip color, because it's so long wearing. Throw a gloss on top and it's going to wear much longer than a lipstick. Well, that is it. That is my full face of first impressions, buying all of the cult favorites that I have never tried before. So final thoughts on the foundation. Now that it has set, it does not have that tacky feel anymore, and when I just like rub my skin, it has no transfer. This is going to be so good for summertime. It still looks the same as when I put it on. A lot of times if a foundation is going to look really heavy and really cakey on my skin, it will have already looked that way by the time I finish my makeup. Of course it could the rest of the day as well, but for right now it looks the same, which is a good sign for me. It does accentuate the fine lines right here under my nose and into my smile lines. That's the only thing I see that I don't like, but that's probably just because it is like so clingy, and it's just gonna accentuate a lot more fine lines and dry patches with it being such a like stuck on foundation. But then the stuck on part has so many pros that I could probably live with the smile lines. My MAC Pro Longwear Concealer, it doesn't look dry, it hasn't creased, and it was incredibly full coverage. I can definitely see me reaching for this from now on the daily. I feel so stupid having just said on the daily. The Lorac Pro Palette, I mean, I'm pretty sure you already get the gist of how I feel about this. In love. So beautiful, so creamy. I mean, the mattes are the true test, and they were so blendable and creamy and wonderful. And I can just see me using this for all different types of occasions. CoverGirl Lash Blast, not my favorite. If you're gonna look for like a cult classic at the drugstore, the L'Oreal Voluminous is my personal favorite, my baby that I've used since middle school. I'm sorry, CoverGirl, but L'Oreal has you beat in the drugstore mascara cult following. Highlighter, the Wet n Wild. This is not going to be like my daily go-to for sure, but it's a really pretty option. If I want a little bit more color to my highlight, the pink iridescence is really pretty, and it really shows up on my skin. Like, I'm impressed with the pigmentation for the drugstore. I can see why everybody loves it, especially because there are a lot of shade options. And the MAC lip liner in Whirl, this is just a really good neutral staple that obviously everybody should have in their collection. I should have had it a long time ago. I think it's really pretty, and it's going to go with a lot of my lip colors, as well as just a good neutral berry option by itself. So really, really pretty. Overall, I am super impressed with everything. The only thing that I might return would be the CoverGirl Lash Blast, but it's a drugstore mascara. It was really cheap, and I'm not going to be like taking the time to go return it. So everything else, like, I'm not returning anything. I'm keeping it all, and I'm going to be using it. Like, I really, really, truly enjoy it and like it. Thank you so much for watching and for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun doing it. If you have a cult favorite makeup product that you love and enjoy every single day, please leave it down below. I would love to see if I've actually tried it before, and if not, I would be open to doing another one of these videos because it was so fun. I should have just jumped on all these bandwagons sooner because there was something to that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe down below. I would love to have you join me for all my future videos, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.